Hello, Mystics. How's everyone doing today? I'm sorry, I kind of feel like I look haggard because I feel like crap. My allergies are kicking my ass, y'all, so bad. Okay. Anyway, this video is I'm recording it a little later in the day than I usually do. Vlogtober number 9 because I was absent yesterday. No, my family and I went on a little day trip and we had a lot of fun, and by the time we got back I was just like, oh man, it's kind of late and I haven't done anything around the house, so I'll be doing 2 videos today to make up for not doing a video yesterday. And this is kind of appropriately named. This video is basically about when you just don't want to witch today. You just don't want to be this, spiritual person. We all have days like that, sometimes months like that, sometimes years like that, but every once in a while you just don't want to kind of carry that weight with you. Not that being a witch or being a spiritual person is a burden, but it is a responsibility. And responsibilities, no matter how wonderful the responsibility is, can feel kind of burdensome sometimes. So there are times when we just don't want to. We just don't want to meditate like we normally do. We just don't want to bust out the witchy stuff and cast a spell. We just don't want to. And we all get to feeling that way, so don't ever feel like you're the only one. I promise you, I feel that way every once in a while. It's not as bad now that I've been in this practice for a long time, but in the early years, and even as early as 4 or 5 years ago, I would get into these bouts where I just was like, I don't feel like messing with tarot cards. And I would not feel like messing with tarot cards for months on end. And I don't feel like keeping these altars going, and I don't feel like revamping my altar every month or replenishing it. I don't want to talk to spirits. I don't want to deal with this stuff anymore. I just want to be normal. And I think everyone kind of goes through that. So what do you do? What do you do when you get in that kind of funk, And as a deviant witch with deviant witchery, we have discussed what to do when you feel like you've lost your mojo, whenever you lost your oomph, when you lost your magic. And I mean, obviously you haven't lost it, but we can feel that way. We can feel like we don't have a magical bone in our body. We can feel like it's all a bunch of bullshit, and no, I don't want to even go on anymore with this, because it's trying, it's challenging, it's, if you watch the Deviant Witches video last night about how a witch is alone, that can kind of, instead of looking at it as a positive thing, as being, powerful in your own right, it can be depressing a little bit, because we are alone. No one, I know for me, no one else in my family that's living anyway practices what I practice. Nobody in my area, really. I mean, there's a few here and there. Most of them aren't that serious about it, really, and they sure don't really necessarily want to talk about it. People get so used to being solitary, they don't really want to connect with others because they like what they do and they don't want to do anything differently. So whenever you invite others into your craft, even though they are witches, they have different ideals, different, philosophies, different ways of doing things. And so some people just don't want to deal with all that. And most of the people around here are kind of like that are involved in the craft. And a lot of the people I met here aren't as serious as I am about the craft. You know, it's kind of a hobby for them, where for me, this is who I am. It makes up a huge part of my life. So we are kind of alone, and that can get tiresome, because you don't, it's sort of like someone who has decided to become more fit. Whenever you are doing it by yourself, when you're exercising by yourself, you have to be your own motivator. The same with craft, or really anything that you're doing that's you and just you. You know, you have to be your own motivator. So how do you motivate yourself whenever you feel like you just kind of want to not for a while? You don't want to witch for a while. You want to just take a break, you know? And I'm not advocating against taking a break. If you really feel like that's something you need to do, then that's something you need to do. Personally, whenever I was taking a break a lot, especially whenever I was, you know, first walking this crooked path to discover my witchy self, I took a lot of breaks, and I cannot say that they were that beneficial, at least for me. To me, they set me back. I felt like I had to start all over. I got kind of frustrated with myself for taking as many breaks as I did. And even when some things in my life really kind of hit the fan, here about 3 or 4 years ago, and I took a sabbatical then for about a year and just worked on myself, and not really my spiritual self, but just myself in general. And I wasn't casting like I used to, and things like that. That break, it was a little bit more beneficial than the others, as far as like I really got to know what I believe and who I am and how I feel about my craft and the person that it makes me. But all the rest of them, no, I don't think they were very beneficial to me. That was just my experience. So what do? Sorry, y'all. I had to get something to drink. Man, my throat is just like, oh, so horrible right now. I probably sound horrible. But anyway, well, you have to find things that motivate you. You have to find ways to fall back in love with being a witch. You know, connect again. And sometimes it takes going back to the simplest of things, the very basic forms of connection. Being out in nature, if that's what you love. Walking around barefoot outside. You know, going on a camping trip, going hiking, you know, to your favorite hiking spot, somewhere where you really feel connected to nature, to earth, to the energies of earth. Sometimes it takes going to a spiritual place, you know, a place where you can meditate, maybe getting back into yoga, reconnecting in whatever spiritual manner that you can, that kind of started it for you, may help. You know, that's what, for me, that's what it was. I started connecting to nature again. I started getting back into nature. I started spending more time outside. Anytime I feel like I just don't want to do this anymore, I go and commune with nature and remember why I started to begin with, why it makes me feel right, why it makes me feel whole. Music helps me a lot. Whenever I have my frumpy days, I will listen to all kinds of music, energetic music, and not necessarily new age music or Wiccan or witchcraft based music, but like energetic music, you know, Rob Zombie or Stevie Nicks, or oh y'all, just anything. The Pretty Reckless is one of my big favorites right now. ZZ Ward, I really like her. She's very soulful and sensual, and I really like her music. Let's see, Halsey, I really like her. You know, it just depends on my mood, but it doesn't have to necessarily be like witchy music. It could just be regular music. Hell, Justin Timberlake's new song. It's from like the Trolls movie that he's in. I love that. I can't even remember the title of it right now, but it's just something silly and upbeat and makes me feel good. Woo. Y'all see that? I'm sorry, I'm about to knock over my backdrop. Something that makes me feel alive. Because when I feel alive, I feel that connection to spirit. I feel that connection to the energies around me. I feel it just flow through me. And then I understand why I'm doing this again. You know, I'm reminded why I'm doing this. I'm reminded of how empty my life feels when I don't have that connection to magic. It's such a powerful thing. Even if I just meditate and light a candle, or sometimes just lighting a candle. It's not even a dress candle, it's just a candle, lighting a candle and just kind of looking into the flame and connecting with that fire energy. And it's like, oh my gosh, yes, I know why I'm doing this, because there's never a time when I can't look at fire and not see something, not feel something. So it just is all about what's going to start that flame again, what's going to give you that, you know, breath of fresh air again. So when you just don't want to find a way to connect, just go ahead, try to find a way to connect in the simplest way possible. Take a shower, connect to water. Let it just run all that beautiful water energy over your body and wash away all that negative bullshit. Because I know for me, that's usually what it is. It's this negative crap that I'm just like kind of fester. You know, as that's kind of one of my default modes. You know, my defense mechanisms. I don't deal with the things that piss me off. I don't deal with some of the things that bother me, and so they just kind of sit there and fester, and then I start feeling bleh. I start feeling like I don't want to do nothing. Let me just sit on the couch and read a book or Netflix and chill or whatever, you know, because I'm just ugh. And so I have to find a way to get rid of all that. Jump in the shower. Walk outside when the wind is blowing and let it just kind of blow through you and connect with that. Let it kind of fill you up and take away all the yuck. Take away all the blasé energy, all the lethargicness, all the stress. Let it just kind of wash over you and connect with the air. And it feels good, you know? Or better yet, force yourself to do shit. You know, I did not feel like doing a video today. I didn't do a video yesterday, and honestly, I wasn't really feeling it yesterday. And today, I could have done one this morning, and instead, I kind of just chilled out for a while and cleaned a little bit and just kind of moped around the house. I'm like, I don't feel good. My allergies are bothering me. My sinuses are all just like, ugh. Screaming at my head, and my head feels like it's 5 times bigger than what it is, and I'm like, Melissa, stop it, let's go get dressed, wash your face, throw on a teeny bit of makeup to make you feel more put together, you know, get on camera. maybe you'll feel better. And I do. I really do. You know, sometimes you just have to talk it out. Talk out the ugh. Talk out the boredom. And it's not that I'm bored with my craft. It's that I get complacent, I guess. Even though I practice on it daily, sometimes I can just become complacent. Grab a crystal. Grab a crystal and hold it in your hand and draw from that energy. I like to store energy in crystals. I like to store energy in a lot of different things, but I like to store energy in crystals, especially for this time, because I know myself well enough. I've walked this path long enough that I know that there are days that I'm going to feel like shit, and I'm not going to want to move, and I'm not going to want to do stuff, and it's not necessarily because I'm physically ill, which, I mean, yeah, that's part of it right now, but come on, mostly that's an excuse. It's because I'm just feeling blasé about things. It's because I'm just feeling not into it. So I will store energy in these crystals, and so whenever I need it, it's just there. And I could grab a hold of this crystal and toss it back and forth in my hands, and while I'm drawing from it, I'm also adding to it with motion and sort of giving back what I'm getting. It makes me feel better. It gives me motivation. It gets me up and moving. But do what you have to do. Do what you have to do to feel better. Sometimes you need to take a day. Take a day and kind of wallow in the bullshit. It helps, you know, figure out what you're feeling, why you're feeling this way. Take a day to just, or a weekend, or whatever it is that you need for yourself to just kind of wallow in it a little bit. Just don't stay there. You know, we get comfortable in wallowing sometimes. I know I do. Sometimes I can feel like comfort, and what it is hiding. You know, it's just hiding. So don't hide. Wallow. You know, accept what you're feeling. Sort of ties back into the video we just did. The Deviant Witch and I just did Saturday for Vlogtober. Accepting and release. So wallow a little bit. Accept that feeling, accept it, know it's there, acknowledge it, give it, give it a little time. Take a little bit of time out of your day, or take a day to really acknowledge it. Figure out why. You know, sometimes there's not a reason, not just one anyway. Sometimes it's very complex and complicated. Sometimes it's hard to put your finger on it. That's okay. As long as you accept the fact that you're feeling this way, you have a pretty good idea why it's happening. Accept it, release it. Allow yourself, give yourself a time limit. You get one day to screw around and just kind of fuck off and do nothing. One day. Or you get 2 days. But after that, back at it. No excuses. Sometimes you gotta do that. And it helps. You know, not all breaks are bad. Just don't wallow in it forever. You know, don't take 5 months. Don't give it 5 months. It doesn't deserve that. It doesn't deserve 5 months of your precious time here on earth. So, and I'm not talking about depression, y'all, okay? This is just, I guess some people could classify it as depression, and I'm not talking about if you suffer from manic depression or bipolarism or anything like that. That is not what I'm talking about. So please, no hate mail on, you don't know me, I'm depressed, okay? I don't know you, and if you are depressed, I'm truly sorry. I know what depression is. I've suffered from it before, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about disenchantment. You know, I'm talking about what burnout, which can contribute to depression, but is not depression. So I'm not talking about depression. I'm talking about disenchantment. I'm talking about burnout. I'm talking about wandering off the path a little bit, because that's what we do, y'all. I mean, there's no shame in that. It happens to everybody. Everybody. If it hasn't happened to you yet, that's great. Be prepared though, because it definitely can, and most of the time it does. When you are doing something for years, you have moments where you question what you're doing. You know, everyone does. You should. I hope you do. As a sign of growth. You know, we all question what we're doing. It's like, am I insane for following this path? It is not an easy one. It's not an accepted one. So, acknowledge that. Give it a little bit of time if you need to, and then just jump right back on that horse, sweetie, because you have a long way to go, and it's okay. We all feel that way. Sometimes we just don't wanna, and that's okay. So, reconnect to the elements. Listen to music, dance, get outside. Find one of your favorite spots that it might not be a spiritual spot as far as it's a recognized spiritual spot by everyone, but if it's a spiritual spot for you, go there. Grab a crystal. Draw on its energy. Blast music out of, you know, from your house, as long as it doesn't bother the neighbors and they call the police on you or anything. Don't get the police involved. If you're lucky enough, like me, to live quite a large distance from your neighbors, and the only neighbors that are close are elderly, so they don't, you know, they can't hear your blasting music very well. Blast your music, dance, connect, recharge, and get back at it. So thanks for listening, guys. I hope that this helped you in some way. If you have any tips for reconnecting, for getting your mojo back, for, you know, getting over the I just don't want us, please feel free to comment in the comment section below. Check out the Deviant Witches video I was talking about. A Witch Alone, I think it's called. Sorry, I can't remember the title. But I will have a little thing pop up here so you can check it out. Y'all have a beautiful, blessed day. And keep on witching, witches. Bye.